Rob, what's good, homie?
Mike, hey, dude, when we had our New Year's show, I told people that we were going to be doing more interviews this year. And, we got another interview for the people. And there's nothing better than talking to seasoned, veteran, uh, experienced people who've been on tour and could share stories and give us their experiences and their opinions of what's going on. Today's game priors. So yeah, we're bringing on Chuck Gardner.
Well, I was going to say, who's got more stories than the ball rep?
I mean,
Who's that those are the people that got the real stories. Like you want the you want the real stories, you go to them, right?
yeah.
So
And if you're ever able to talk to one of a ball rep off the radar, off the record, off videos, you could hear a lot of really good stories that they probably can't share on a podcast for people to listen to. So to me, those are the best stories when you're able to like go to dinner or have some drinks with the ball reps and you're friendly with them and they'll tell you some stories and you're like, man, I wish I could talk about this on air, but you really can't sometimes.
yeah, no doubt. All right, let's not delay. Let's bring them
Yeah.
on because I actually want to follow up on your comment there, and this is what I'm going to start with. Chuck, welcome to Sweet the Rack, bro.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for the time, man. We
Looking forward to having
appreciate it.
some fun.
No doubt. So you heard Rob just talk about trying to catch the ball rep while they're hanging out at the bowling alley. But am I right or am I not that the ball reps and I haven't been around the tour a lot. I've only been around here and there to watch Bill bowl for a week here, a week there. But the ball reps seem to want to keep themselves a little bit off limits, and I think I know why. I think I know what from the general public I'm talking about anyway. Like you don't see the ball reps to me interacting with the general public all that much. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because everybody's asking these guys for bowling balls. It's because everybody wants a bowling ball. Now I'm going to say this. The tour came to Carolier for numerous years in a row, right, Chuck? I mean, it was like 5-6 years in a row you guys were Carolier. And I'm going to tell the people something. Okay, this is going to tell you about Chuck Gardner right here. I don't know him. Honestly, we've never been formally introduced or not, but this is how I know you, Chuck. This man talked to every member of the public that wanted to talk to him, talked to every junior bowler, gave out bowling balls galore during that week to people left and right. And yeah, it was different to me because like I said, usually I feel like the ball rep, the ball reps don't even want people to know they're the ball reps because people are just going to hound them for the bowling balls. But Chuck, it seemed like you were there to have ball rep Christmas, bro.
Yeah. Well, listen, I always looked at my job. I'm representing Brunswick, and I wanted the customers or the people who throw our products or think they might want to throw our products to have somebody that they can talk to and treat with respect and just be a regular guy. I'm just a regular guy like everybody else is. I just have the coolest job maybe ever. Getting to work with some great guys I got to and my input. If they needed some input or they wanted some input, I was going to help them, and that's kind of how I always viewed it. And I still think it should be that way today, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean that's amazing, and I think Mike has a good point too. It's tough when you're going from city to city, right? And everybody knows you're the ball rep, and people are hitting up for bowling balls. I was one of those people that was hitting people up for bowling balls.
Oh, me too. I would have been hitting them up too, no doubt.
But I would be very like nonchalant. I'd be like, Chuck, like I can't. My reaction's real like not great. What are your thoughts? And me asking that was like, well, what do you got for a bowling ball you could drill me that could help me out here, And,
no, I'm also going to say that on the Sunday of the U.S. Open before the show, Chuck and some other people from Carolier, I believe Debbie Stein was one of the people who was involved. They used to run a huge junior clinic as well. and a lot of the Brunswick staff
Very
people
much.
be involved. Yeah, and I was there. I was there for a couple of years. I got asked to coach for a couple of years. So that again, like that's how I view you, man. I view you as somebody who's out there. The outgoing ball rep, the guy who was talking to everybody, making time with everybody. Not like I said, not the norm for me. But sorry, Rob, go ahead.
Yeah. So, Chuck, I guess I want to start from the beginning, right? I want to hear about like how you started in bowling. Like, where did you? I guess how did your career kind of develop throughout just when you started? So, start from scratch. Give us the high level view of how it all began, Chuck.
Well, my parents bowled, so I bowled as a kid, and I became friends with a lot of really great guys: Del Warren, Joe Firpo, Jimmy Keith, Ron Dixon, all the South Florida boys. Actually, met your brother many years ago. But I just loved to bowl, and I wanted to bowl on tour, and I went out there a couple times here and there, and wasn't great. Never really had, I think, what it really took to be a premier player. And I was actually bowling fairly well in 2001. Bowled a little bit more in 2001. Was bowling fairly well, and had an interesting conversation with Del Warren. And they wanted to have a rep on tour, and they thought it was great if I still bowled a couple majors, and just kind of helped all the guys with Columbia and track, and that's kind of how it started. I had a pro shop. I knew a little bit about ball motion, and figured, if I can help, I think it's a great deal, and they're going to pay me every week. I'm like, heck, I'm not getting paid every week now. So let's give this a try. Let's see if I enjoy it and see how it goes. And from there, it just turned into what it became. So a 20-year career repping on tour. And when Ebonite bought Columbia and track, I got the really great phone call from the people with. And, when you're a kid and you're growing up around bowling, Brunswick was the name. Brunswick were the people. I had a dream I'd work for Brunswick someday, and then the opportunity happened, and I've been there ever since.
At what point, or do you remember what year, what time period you actually went from not competing anymore to just doing the ball repping side?
Yeah, it was the end of 2001. Into 2001, I just said, I'm just going to focus fully on trying to help players and work on this next phase of my life, and not chase bowling anymore. And I really didn't bowl anymore until I turned 50.
All right, Chuck. Well, we had some technical difficulties here, so you had to switch offices, and we were talking about the year you decided to stop bowling essentially and go out on tour officially full time after you were having conversations with Del Warren. So I guess the interview might be a little choppy at this point, but I kind of want to talk about when you went out there in your first couple of years. You were out on tour, right? What were those like? I mean, it was a big learning curve for you. You had pro shop experience, and you said that you understood a little bit of ball motion. How much of a learning curve was that for you to get thrown into the deep end, essentially?
Yeah, it was a big learning curve. I had the benefit of some really smart people that really helped me. Del was one of them, obviously, and the other one was Mo Pinnell. Mo and I were great friends, and he spent a lot of time with me. I mean, he came out on tour. He and listen, I worked with some great players, I got to work with some really great players. I mean, right away, I worked with Barnes. I worked with Walter Ray. I worked with Leto. I worked with some really great players right away. And I learned a lot
Was
from them.
Voss still around at that time too?
Yeah. Voss
Okay.
was still around. Voss was still around.
Randy Peterson. Randy Peterson was probably.
But
Well, if he was around, he might have been Storm. Yeah,
He was
you're
Storm
right.
by then.
You're right. Okay.
And I was actually Columbia and track. So
Okay.
Barnes, Walter Ray kind of went where I went. So he had his mow time, which was good for him too. But yeah, it was a gigantic learning curve, and I made up my mind really early. I wanted to be really good at what I did. I became great friends with Chris Schlemmer, and we spent a lot of time together. Heck, we even roomed together for a while. Certain events. Heck, I remember when we bowled at the casino up there in Connecticut. We had the TSC there a few times. Hotel rooms were like 400 a night, and him and I we just roomed up and shared rooms together, and so I had a great relationship with Chris, and still do, and so it was gigantic learning curve, but I spent a lot of time trying to hone my craft, and I will tell you that the players, I learned a lot from the players, and I think that's what made me better at what I did, because I learned a lot from them. I really tried to understand how they visualized ball motion and how they wanted to try and see the lane, and so I just kept trying to get better.
Mike, there's so many different routes that I want to go here. So being a tour rep is difficult. We've had tour reps on our show before where we've interviewed them and we've asked them just in general, like how much of a challenging position it is, because essentially the pros are looking for you for answers, and there's a lot of times you might not have the answers. It's a little bit of a trial and error, right? So in your opinion, what was the most challenging part of the job? And do you have any stories of essentially maybe pros that were more challenging to deal with than other pros, or blaming you for not bowling well, or like, I don't know, you can kind of go wherever you would kind of want to go with this, Chuck, but
well, I will tell you that working with guys like Parker and Walter Ray and Leto, never once did any of those guys ever blame me for their performance, ever. They were thankful that I had ideas. They were appreciative that I was always willing to share my ideas. But some tour reps, and I not calling any names, but some tour reps, if they gave the player an idea and the player didn't go down that path, they would get butthurt. I had one that worked with me, and he was okay. He did a good job, but he would get so butthurt if they didn't take his advice. And I would try to explain to him, and I've explained this to every tour rep. Brett Spangler and I are very good friends. And when Brett first came on tour, he reached out to me. He said, "Listen, I'm going to come on tour. I was wondering if you could help me. Would you give me some guidance?" And you guys know me. I'm going to help anybody I can. I believe that when we make the sport better and create better people within the sport, we help it. And it's just how I see the sport. But I will tell you, there's been plenty of players that took my advice, and it didn't work. And the reality is, all we're going to do is try and give them the best chance to succeed. This is what I see. This is what I think can give you what you're looking for. Let's give it a try. If it doesn't work, then we'll get after something differently. And that's the way I always approached it. I never approached it that I knew the answer. I never approached it. I was there to give them support. This is their career. Every decision they make is theirs. They're the ones that are trying to feed their families. They're the ones that are trying to create a career and win titles and get to the Hall of Fame someday. And I will tell you that that's how I always viewed it. So I'm going to give them the best input I can, and no matter what. But I will tell you, some guys were really challenging. Ryan Simonelli, I love Ryan like a son, but I'm telling you, Ryan was tough to deal with. Ryan was hard, and I will tell you that the other reps that have tried to work with Ryan have reached out to me and go, "Man, how did you even talk to that guy?" And I love Ryan, and I will do anything for Ryan. Ryan was here for my New Year's party a few days ago, and with his whole family, and it was a blast, and I absolutely love him. But he was tough, and other guys have been tough too. And it really comes down to relationships. I think it really comes down to relationships, trust. Are you going to prove to them that you want them to succeed? One thing about me, I was always the first one there and the last one to leave every day. No one was ever going to outwork me. It was never going to happen. Never, ever, ever going to happen. And Mike, you're one of your best buddies, Bill O'Neill. I got to work with Bill way back in his Columbia days before he ever signed with Hammer. And then, of course, when they became part of Brunswick, I got to spend a couple more years with Bill. And some of my best memories are with Bill, to be honest. I have some unbelievable memories with Bill. And,
Bill,
I chose not to come to his Hall of Fame induction. And I'm sure you guys can probably grasp why I felt it was a better decision for me not to be there. But I talked to him beforehand. I told him I wasn't going to be there. I apologized for not being there, and he totally understood why I wasn't going to be there. So,
a lot of people don't know this about Bill, but Bill's probably easy to work with as a tour rep because he didn't know a thing about layouts. He would literally give you the ball and be like, just do what you do.
Right. Well, and Amleto, Walter Ray, Parker, all those guys were like that. And what the beauty of working with guys like Bill and all those guys is sometimes they wouldn't even come to the truck. And I would drop them a text and get, "Hey, there's a ball in the truck. Make sure you get there early in the morning to get it worked out. I think it's a good option for us to have for tomorrow." And that's how we did it, right? That's how I worked. Some guys, they wanted to be involved and they wanted to lay out their own bowling balls. They wanted to have input in laying out balls, and that's great. That's fine with me. I'll be honest with you. Those guys were easy to work with too, because most of the time they took ownership. Tom Smallwood, fantastic to work with. Loved working with Tom, and he always laid out his own stuff. We would joke about, I think we should change layouts on this thing, and as you know, he's full roller, so he uses the same layout on everything, basically like Walter Ray. And Parker only uses 2 layouts. That's all he uses. And so it's just, I don't know. There was some really tough ones and a lot of really fun ones.
Yeah. I'm gonna come from a different angle on that a little bit, and I'm gonna ask you if there's any like situations where it's like the one that you felt got away, where you felt like I should or should not have given this player this suggestion at this time, or you felt, because like you could, I would imagine doing what you do, you could feel responsible for the player not winning, right? So can you tell us about a couple situations like that, maybe?
Yeah, without a doubt. It's happened on several shows where we'll be at commercial break, and we'll talk for a minute or two during the commercial break, and I'm if it's my game and I'm competing right now, this is what I'm going to do. And I've had, it's happened with Walter Ray. Walter Ray was remember that show at the World Series? Maybe this was 2012 or something. We're in Vegas at the where we always bowled the World Series out there.
South Point.
South Point, yeah. And he flat 10. We had they put the 2 lanes in upstairs. It was just before they built the Coliseum up there. But they put the 2 lanes in, and the pair was bad. Like, it was bad, and couldn't get the ball to get up the hill. And, he just doesn't have a lot of rev rate. And so we practiced the night before. I drove 4 balls, and he was not happy. Walter Ray doesn't like to work out bowling balls. He's one of those guys that really doesn't think bowling balls make that big a difference. He just doesn't. He says, I'm just going to throw it better. Well, I'll tell you, this show where he flat 10'd 4 of the first 5 frames, we went to commercial, and he said, man, you think I should change balls? I said, yes, you should absolutely change balls. This is the one I would go to. And he flat 10'd 3 straight shots in a row after that with the different ball. And I'm like, oh my God, maybe I should have just told him to shut his angle down a little bit and just ramrod it in there. And I will tell you that I got absolutely crucified online. Crucified. They said, somebody, I forget who it was, some player said, Chuck Gardner sat there, looked like a bump on a log, while his guy flat 10'd 12 shots in a row, and he didn't never do anything. He didn't get him to change balls. He didn't do anything. And I've got him to change balls again in the 10th, and he doubled in the 10th. And I'm like, oh. So my guess was the wrong ball, but the reality is I should have just had a different game plan. I should have just told him, move right, ramrod it in there, and just out bowl him. Just out bowl him. And that was the
but I mean,
to some of these guys.
If you're gonna be wrong, I guess it's okay to be wrong for the guy who has almost 50 titles.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
I'd feel a lot worse if I was wrong for the rookie who's on the show.
Yeah,
they don't have a title, and maybe I feel like I cost him his only shot. Walter Ray, it's like, it didn't go my way. Less than flat 10s. I got 40-some more titles in the bank. I'm good.
Well, there's a lot more instances than that. But I just the reason I use that one is because I just got pummeled on social media. It was the beating was beyond. I was black and blue for a week. I mean, it was bad.
I mean, Chuck, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm one of those, and I should say our podcast is for sure like this too. Now with all the content that's being created and shows like us, I mean, we're going on air that Sunday night after a show, and we are sitting there and we are quarterback couching 100%. Like,
sure.
And I am very critical of a lot of the players and the ball reps of like the decisions they're making, and like just knowing bowling, and I could see reactions like just from home, right? And I'm just sitting there, why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? Why did they use a surface? Why didn't they play right? Like, and I'm sitting there, and you don't realize how hard it is. And if I'm seeing it, you're seeing it. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm the only one seeing this.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, especially with the internet era, it's everybody. It's not just you, right? So, but that's a funny story, Chuck. I kind of like to hear about like how hard it is nowadays with all of the balls, like new releases as a ball rep. And I think to me, like we always talk about how, I mean, I just saw there was 5 more new announcement bowling balls that just released today. And it's a crazy how, like, I talk to Bill all the time, and I'm like, Bill, how do you keep up with these new releases? Like, and he's like, I don't. Like, I drill one or two. But as a ball rep, how do you keep up with like these ball releases? Like, and the pros are going to expect you to know a lot what's going on with the balls, right? And like, so I guess like I leave that question like, because back when you started, there weren't as many ball releases as there are now, right? So it's like,
no, not even close.
And being with Brunswick, you have like now 6 labels or 5 labels that you could throw or whatever. Like, so talk to me about how hard it is for ball reps these days.
It's really hard. So what we did at Brunswick, and I don't know what the other companies do, but I will tell you at Brunswick, what we did is Bill Orlikowski would actually write a synopsis of each ball before they came out. And we created, and I know Wolf and the guy Dino and those guys still use this sheet that we created. And what it is, it's just a little cheat sheet for the reps and for the players. And the cover stocks are color coded. So you know, let's say there was 6 other balls with that same cover stock on it in the last 8 months. So now you immediately have a family, which you know this ball is going to be similar in motion. But Bill Orlikowski's descriptions were gigantically important, especially when we were on tour. We're out there and a new release is coming, and they would ship the balls to the next tour stop, and we never got the balls until the week we could use them. Right? So the players haven't seen the balls. They've not even seen them go down the lane. So I was not the guy. I will tell you, there's a rep for Storm that was with them for a long time, that every time a new ball came out, he would drill everybody a couple of them. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Like, he caught holy heck for that sometimes. Like I don't want to throw this ball. I have no idea. I don't know anything about it. So what I would do is gradually move them into, hey, this is similar to so-and-so ball. This has the same cover. Core numbers are similar. I mean, if you look at the core numbers on bowling balls,
similar.
And like, listen, I understand why the ball companies come out with so many balls. I really do. The reality is we created this gigantic problem in bowling that once we started coming out with bowling balls, that people just couldn't wait till the next ball came out. And bowlers have trained themselves that new ball reaction, fresh ball reaction, there's nothing better, right? So I'm not going to go take a lesson. I'm not going to go get better. I'm just going to drill the next ball. So we created this dynamic in bowling, and I don't know who created it. I don't know if it's the ball manufacturers, if it's the bowlers, if it's tour reps. I don't know who it is. I don't know how it started. But I will tell you that once a ball is 30 to 45 days old, nobody's buying it anymore. It doesn't matter how good the darn thing is. Like, it does not matter unless it's a Purple Hammer or what was that Storm ball that's been there for 12 years?
High Road.
High Road.
Yeah, if it's one of those balls, yeah, they keep drilling that. But a normal bowling ball, and it doesn't matter how good the darn thing is. Like this alert ball, I've not drilled one because I don't bowl. But from what I hear, this is the second coming to the good Lord Jesus Christ, this ball. And so maybe it is this good. But the reality is the consumer in 45 days, they don't hear about that ball anymore.
So, Chuck, question on this, because a lot of the pros that I know, and when I've been out there bowling with them, a lot of them don't think that way. A lot of them like using older.
Yes,
they love the balls. They know what they're going to do.
Absolutely. And let's be honest, the number of players on tour that even use the number one selling balls, the asymmetrical bowling balls, it's tiny. Tiny. When you look at the greatest players of all time, players that really loved asymmetric balls, there's not a lot of them. There's not a lot of them. Sean Rash, Walter Ray, Bill O'Neill. Bill O'Neill throws a lot of asymmetric bowling balls. Okay, always has. Tommy Jones, not so much. Not so much, right? But a lot of these guys, they don't even like asymmetrical bowling balls because they change. They do what they do too quickly and it's too sudden, right? They like symmetrical balls that are more round and more continuous and more predictable. Asymmetrical bowling balls, when they see friction, they change direction so quick that a lot of these tour players, they don't want the lane to determine more of their game than they have to. They would rather have some more control of it. So a lot of them throw a lot of symmetrical balls. And once you find those symmetrical balls that you really love, you want to keep throwing them.
So
you want to keep throwing them.
This is such a good transition into the urethane conversation because you're talking control, right? And what you're saying to me immediately, I thought of like urethane and controlling the lane. And
I'm going on record that I'm aggravated you're even bringing this up, but go ahead, continue.
I wanted Chuck's like point of view on like the perspective of like the central rebirth of urethane, right? Because when you came on tour in 2001-ish, that was right when essentially urethane was phased out, right? Like high performance was taken over. You bowling on Cheetah, you were using a controlled high performance ball, right? You were changing hand positions, you were changing speed, you were moving to the gutter, you're doing all these things. And then the emergence of urethane, as the years went on, the Purple Hammer, the Pitch Black, all of it took a lot of that play of like changing your physical game out of it, right? Because you were able to. So I guess I'm gonna throw it out, kind of go how you want with this, Chuck. But like, what are your thoughts on the emergence of urethane and the players and just becoming so popular? Like, did the ball manufacturers, the ball companies, did they even see that coming, or is this like something that just kind of like sprung up on them and now they're kind of adjusting to a lot of that? And am I right in saying that a lot of the players now, it became a handcuff for them in a sense?
Well, it became a crutch. What really brought it back, honestly, Rob, is the rev rates of the players. Like, you think back to 2001, like, who was the highest rev rate player in 2001? It's somebody that wouldn't even be a tweener today, right? It's a knuckle guy. So, Robert Smith, Rudy, some of those guys, they were before then. But the reality is they were like the freaks. And now, starting in, let's say 2010, 11, 12, all of a sudden the rev rates of the players is through the roof. Two-handed bowling, not putting your thumb in the ball. All these things changed. And when the rev rates got so high that now all of a sudden they can make these urethane balls that they now have control of, way easier to control, but now they can make them strike, right? Guys like Norm and Walter Ray and even Pete, they couldn't make them strike. Yeah, they had control for flat 10. So, when you look at the guys that really capitalized on this urethane rebirth, you don't see too many guys without a lot of rev rate. So it was rev rate driven. And the ball companies, they didn't really know this was going to happen. If someone comes on here and says, "Oh yeah, we knew," no, you did not know. You're lying through your teeth. And but I will tell you, when the Purple Hammer came out, I will promise you, we knew there was something super special there, and we got to work on it really fast at Brunswick, trying to figure out, all right, what are we going to do? How are we going to make our ball do what this thing does? And so what we're doing now, what all the companies are now doing, right? They're using the urethane, the regular urethane resin cover without plasticizer, so it doesn't have that reactive resin jump. And they're figuring out a better way to use that, since now you can't use urethane exactly, right? So you're trying to come up with an answer, but nobody really ever had an answer for the Purple Hammer. Nobody did. I would say Storm got closest. We didn't get close, to be honest with you. We didn't get close. I mean, we struggled with it. We struggled with it, and but I will tell you, our guys were working their butts off. But they had something special, and these guys that were good with urethane, they figured it out. They figured out how their bad shots were no longer big fours. Their bad shots were 4-pins. Well, you know what? You're going to do okay,
right,
if your bad shots are 4-pins. And the guys that are throwing reactive resins, bad shots are big fours.
I was going to say, could you imagine if Walter in his prime was able to carry a few more 10 pins a game?
Oh,
how many more titles he would have won? Like if he was able to control and carry, because that was Walter's always. Like if you had a kryptonite for Walter, right, was his carry, right? Like because of his rev rate.
Of course.
I mean, so now, Mike, imagine Walter being able to knock a flat, even 1 or 2 more flat 10s out a game. The guy would have won like 80 or 90 titles, maybe.
He could have. He could have. There's no question he could have. And I think if reactive bowling balls came sooner, whew, man, he could have got to 60 pretty easy, I think. If just reactive balls came sooner.
Right.
Because, man, he was still great. Like, he was so good. And his philosophy about bowling, like, if you ever have a chance to just sit down and talk bowling to Walter Ray, he kept the game so simple. So simple. You guys ever get to talk to guys like Dave Davis or guys like that back in the day, Dave Sutar? Like, you know, they looked at the game differently than we do, right? Way differently. They're going to hit the 1-3, and then they're going to figure out a way to hopefully triple 4 or shimmy that little 6 up into the bottom of the 10 and maybe knock it over once in a while so they can bowl 224 instead of 216, right? And so, you know, it's just different philosophies about bowling. Today, if the messenger goes in front of the 10 twice in a game, some of these bowlers think that they've just, my God, the world's coming to an end. I think there's a bomb coming. We got to get out of the building because we're all going to die because the messenger missed the 10-pin twice in a game.
Yeah,
so,
LeBron James effect, Chuck. You know.
Yeah, but in that era, I mean, I would say that there was a lot more skill involved in being able to strike consistently.
No doubt.
Right, like because of the advancements in ball technology, because of the advancements in patterns and being able to, you know, make them easier. You know, obviously, like, I don't know if anyone, well, I'm sure there's some dopes out there that would argue with the idea that it's gotten easier to strike consistently over the years in bowling, right? And I love how you said that, Chuck, because I came up around a lot of old timers, me and Bill, Joe Paluzik as well, Levittown Lanes, like there were all kinds of old timers around that place, and they were just what you described right there. I mean, that's the way that they taught us the game.
Sure.
You know, good fundamentals and stay down and trip to 4 and turn a strike into a double. But yeah, but we were coming up in an era where, you know, it was like it was like Strike Fest, right? So you definitely have that as well.
Well, and the amount of knowledge though now too. So, you know, think back to the, you know, 80s and 90s. There were no tour reps. John Jowdy was out there and he was sort of a coach, but he
Right.
would help everybody. He worked for Columbia. If you wanted to get a comp ball, you'd talk to Jowdy and he'd write you a slip for a comp ball. If you wanted a comp hammer, you'd have to go talk to Steve Cook. And the reason they gave it to Steve Cook is because people were afraid to go talk to him and ask for a free ball because he was big and mean and tough. And, so you see, but, that's the rep thing has actually, I think reps have improved the sport because, and this was my beef a little bit with ESPN when we had ESPN for all those years. We experimented several times, and the reaction from the fans was gigantically in favor when they mic'd the reps, so you could hear the conversations going on with the players. The fans loved it, but ESPN had this like weird dynamic with it. And then when we got with Fox, Fox was very into it for a little while, and then I don't know what happened. Someone maybe did, I don't know, promoted their brand too much, or I did something, and I think Fox said, "Well, we need to get paid for those commercials or something." So I don't know exactly what happened, but I will tell you that I think education is, to me, still the key to our sport. Still got to educate people. Got to teach them how to. Yes, the game is easier, no doubt about it, Mike. You're 100% right. It's way easier to hit the pocket today than it ever was, and the reality is, pin carry. Come on, those messengers that come flying back across the lane. It's not just because of rev rate. It's not. It's because of some of the cool things, the dynamics that are in these cores that actually keep with the core inside the core and all this stuff. It changes the way the ball hits the pins. You guys have been around bowling a long time, just like I have. I can tell you in a bowling center, when a ball goes through the pins almost every time. Now, I'm not in a bowling center 15 hours a day anymore. But I will tell you, I can tell you almost always what kind of ball that was because they sound different hitting the pins. Completely different.
It's interesting.
It is.
I got to bring this up because you just gave me the perfect segue by talking about ball reps being featured on TV and ball reps, the conversations between ball reps and players being part of the show. And man, we got a classic one this past season where Gary Haines struggling. I mean, my man was on the struggle bus. He was mentally defeated. He could not he could not pry it off his hand. It was so bad. Like, we've all been there, and we've all, like, I was feeling for him literally as this was going on, and I'm watching this show. And he goes over to his ball rep, Dino, and after several conversations, he tells him, "I want you to go kiss your wife."
Yeah.
And I mean, we all know the rest of the story and what it led to. So, number one, I'd like to hear your take on that. And number two, you got anything like that? You got anything similar where you had to tell a guy something kind of outside the box to get them to refocus?
Yeah, first of all, I loved it. The reality is you have to get them in a place where they can relax, right? Because listen, you don't make shows if you can't throw a shot, right? You ain't making a show if you can't throw a shot. So Gary Haines can bowl. You guys are from the East. You've seen Gary Haines bowl. We all know Gary Haines can bowl, and he's just a great guy. But the moment was a little big. Your first show, you're bowling for the Masters,
50 grand,
yeah,
100 grand, 100 grand, 100
yeah, I think
grand.
it was 100 grand,
Yeah.
and so the moment was just too big at that right then. It was just too big. It wouldn't get off. Look like the cat had a little Scotch tape on his paw. It wasn't. And I love Gary. My God, I love Gary, and I'm so proud of him. But Dino did. Dino was out of ideas, and all he was trying to do is get him to think about something different than that moment. Something different than that moment. And yeah, I've got a bunch of moments like that, and it's interesting. You got, if you don't have a great relationship with your players, and you don't have trust between each other, it's hard for you to be successful. Because some of the things that I told players over the years, we really shouldn't talk about, and we won't talk about here, about the bonus that might happen if you if you just try one thing and go do this. This is what's going to happen later. We're gonna go here, and we're gonna we're going to the casino.
There you go.
We're gonna hang out at the casino. But so I don't have any particular exact stories that I feel like I can honestly share. But I will tell you, lots of times the conversation is not about ball reaction. It's about taking an extra breath. It's about putting yourself in all the practice you've done in your whole career. How many times you've thrown this shot? How many times have you envisioned throwing this shot on TV to win your first title?
Essentially, it's sports psychology. Especially
they're mental coaches.
Yeah.
They're mental coaches. I mean,
exactly.
really.
And I will tell you, some of what I feel were my best moments as a rep had nothing to do with guessing the right layout. Or I will tell you, when Parker won the World Championships in 2012 after Hurricane Sandy, Superstorm Sandy, or whatever it was, when we changed balls on the right lane, I don't think the ball reaction was the problem. I just think he didn't have any confidence on that lane, right? He didn't have any confidence on that lane. I don't think he made a really great shot that entire first game on the right lane. He made some okay shots. They got close. But I said in the 10th frame on the fill shot, I went and grabbed the ball and I said, hey, let's throw this at same ball, just a different layout, and just switch to this one. I think this is going to shape a little bit more in the mid lane and to give you a little bit more continuation down lane. And he made such a great shot on the fill ball that the ball did exactly the right thing. And I think the other ball would have done it too, but he made such a great shot that now all of a sudden he had all the confidence in the world and nobody was going to beat him. Nobody was going to beat him. He was going to climb the ladder and go win because he's Parker Bone. Not because of the ball change or not because of anything else, because he's Parker Bone. Yeah, one of the greatest shot makers that's ever touched a ball, in my opinion.
No doubt. Chuck, talk to us for a minute about, because you were ball rep for a long time, and we talked mostly about that, but we know that you've transitioned into a new role, kind of supporting youth bowling with Brunswick. So talk to us about that and what you're doing right now in the current day.
Yeah, I love what I do, and I went to Brunswick in 2021 and said, listen, I'm done. I don't want to be on tour anymore. I've just, I've been out there for 20 years. Nobody's ever been out there 20 years. And I really, I don't know if anybody will ever make it 20 years. It's a thankless job. And you have to relish in the victories so much. It has to be so important for you to win, to make sure that you don't get beat up when you don't. Right. So it was a mental game for me to stay in it that long. And I just said, I don't want to do it anymore. So I'm thinking I'm going to retire. And Brian Graham and Bugsy Kelly and Corey Dykstra all said that we don't want you to retire. We don't want you to wear the crown. And what do you want to do? I said, well, I started my Bowl for Life Foundation in 2012. We've given away this year we got to 800,000 we've given away in scholarships, and wow. We raise all the money. We don't run tournaments and have parents pay to get into a tournament and give them back their money. And again, nothing against anybody that runs youth tournaments. I'm so happy for them, because my job now at Brunswick with the Brunswick Youth Experience is I go support youth tournaments all over the country. I'll be in New Jersey in March at the unbelievable Carolier Lanes. It'll still always be Carolier to me.
Always.
Yeah, no doubt. It's a lot different these days.
Yeah. Well, when I was there last year, they were putting the strings in on the low end, and it was happening while I was there. And I will tell you, I had a couple tears rolling down my cheek. But I love that Mrs. Stein still has that other end of the center, and she does so much stuff with youth bowling. And so I'll be there for the NJYBT. I go in a couple weeks to Houston, and I'll be down there with Brad Hagan and his group. So I just travel around the country. I go to 12 to 15 events a year, and usually bring a pro with me. And we go down there and we support tournaments that are existing. We don't run tournaments. Brunswick doesn't run any tournaments. We go there and support current youth tournaments, and we give them things. We give them some keychains and bag tags, and just I call it trinkets and trash. There's fun stuff to give away to the kids, and we encourage them to keep bowling. We walk around, we talk to them about bowling, we talk to the parents, and I have some amazing pros that are. Bill is phenomenal. Packy's unbelievable. Shannon Pulowski, Liz Culkin, Brianna Klimmer, Ashley Galante. We have so many great players that are part of Brunswick, and I take them with me. Take one with me to each event, and we take some pictures with the kids, and we sign some autographs, and we just encourage them to keep bowling. So that's my full-time job with Brunswick. It doesn't cost the bowling center or the tournament anything. Brunswick foots the bill. They pay the travel for me, the travel for the pros. The pros have some days built into their contract that we can ask them to work. And this is the easiest work they'll ever do. They're going down there to support kids. They go down there and they clap for them and talk to parents about bowling. And so I love doing it. People ask me every week or every month, how long are you going to do it? I'm 66 now, but I still love doing it. I still love giving back to the sport. And that's why when I saw you guys post, you were talking about something about, what can we do to improve the sport? I'm like, how can I help? Like, I want to do anything I can to help. Parker asked me to come to this training center and do a seminar or do something with them. I'm there. And I just love still giving back to our sport. And I got to get a Patch Pirate shirt. I see this T-shirt going across. I got to get a Patch Pirate shirt so I can put a Brunswick patch on it and I'd put patches all over it.
You can't be a patch pirate. You're certified. You're stamped and certified. You're good.
Yeah, but don't worry though. His Brunswick though does support a lot of patch pirates.
I know. Well, I was going to say, now, you're the guy who gives the certification to the patch pirates by giving them these ball deals they shouldn't have because they're house hacks and averaging 230, but avoiding their local sport league. But we'll get in. That's for another time, bro. That's for another time.
You invite me to be on the next time you want to have one of those, because you will hear nothing but truth from me. And you guys know the truth. You know why those guys get those deals, right?
Yeah.
Because they're going to help us sell some bowling balls.
No doubt.
Right? They're some guy. There's a guy down here in South Carolina. Man, can this guy bowl? Bro, he's so good. He reminds me of what was the guy's name that was so Mike Newman? Remember Mike Newman?
Of course.
Oh my God, this guy throws it like Mike Newman. And I love watching him bowl. Well, he is so frustrated. He can't get on staff. Like, he's talked to Storm. The only people that have ever offered him a deal was what's that company, Swig or Swag?
Yeah.
Swag. Yeah, they offered him a deal, but you got to pay to be on staff or something with them.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how that works.
Pirate, yeah.
Patch Pirate. So I've talked to him several times, and I'm like, bro, here's the deal. Ball companies can't afford to have you on staff. And he goes, I don't understand what you're talking about. I go, well, you're kind of a jerk. Like, you're really good. You beat people's brains in, and you let them know how good you are. and how bad they are, like Brunswick can't afford to have you wearing their logo and running around being a jerk. Like, that's not good.
That's why Mike's not on staff.
I knew you were going to say that.
That's an easy answer. That's why Mike's not on staff.
Oh yeah, because I speak truth, please. I don't even want to hear it.
Hey, listen, man. I tell people this all the time. When they ask for my truth, I go, "Are you sure you want to hear the truth?"
Right.
Because if you ask, I'm going to tell you the truth. Because
don't mind me. I'm just somebody who is romantic about a time in bowling where if you had a ball deal, if you walked into a bowling alley, 95% of the people in the bowling alley would have known your name and who you were. Yeah. And today it's like every Tom, Dick, and Harry has a ball deal, and that's why I started the patch pirate trend or whatever. But listen, Chuck, we enjoyed having you, bro. We appreciate the time greatly, and we are going to have you back. We are going to have you back for maybe a little patch pirate discussion. Yeah. We can get a little bit deeper into that. And when you come out to Jersey in March, I'll do my best. I'm going to try and make it over to Carolier and come say what's up in person. But again, we appreciate the time, man. We appreciate the insight. A lot of fun stories, etc. It was good to have you on, and you're welcome anytime. So anytime you want to come out, anytime there's something you want to promote, anytime that there's something that you want to let the people know about, hit us up. We'll be glad to help you out. You talked about Bowl for Life. You talked about Brunswick. Anybody else out there that you want to shout out, that you want to kind of give a shout to for supporting you? Or
well, I would. I'd love to throw a shout out to Turbo and to I Am Bowling. I have been wearing their logos ever since before I Am Bowling was I Am Bowling. I wore logo infusion jerseys, and even when they weren't allowed to be worn on tour, I still wore them. And the reality is, those people have always supported me, and you guys keep your eyes open for this Bowlers Network. As we continue to roll this out a little bit at a time, I don't know if you know the ownership group that's part of Bowlers Network, but it's a pretty eclectic group of individuals. The CEO of the company, you may not know him. His name is Jay Fedek. Good bowler, good guy from out in the Dakotas. But my brother Parker Bone is part of the ownership group. I have some real family that are involved in this. Carolyn Dorn Ballard, Liz Johnson. It's a great group of great people trying to help the sport. Knowing that it's going to be a long battle to get this thing rolling and have it make a difference in bowling, and knowing that none of us will probably be around when it starts to become a super cool thing, but we're all going to help get it going and do what we can to help grow bowling and figure out a way to get players paid when their career's over, by just being part of something cool. Norm Duke is also involved. He's one of the owners also. So there's 5 of us that are putting our heart and soul in this thing, and we're in beta testing now. And maybe when you guys don't have anything to talk about one week, you want to have the part of the ownership group come on your show and tell you a little bit about what our goal is long term for the Bowlers Network. It'd be kind of fun. I'd love to do that with you guys too.
Absolutely, no Chuck. I'll reach out.
Absolutely, Chuck. We appreciate time, bro. Take it easy.
And safe travel. Show. I know I watch it a lot.
Thanks, Chuck.
I throw some comments in. I love what you guys do. I love the honesty, and I love the lack of fear in, especially you, Mike. It's like I love listening to you.
I appreciate it, man.
You're one of the few, Chuck. You're one of the few.
I don't think so. Rob does his best to kind of keep you in line, but he knows there's no keeping you in line.
It ain't an easy job.
That train is going. There's no derailment.
Love you guys, man. Thanks for having me.
Chuck, take it easy, man.
We appreciate it, Chuck. I love it. There's no derailing you, Mike. Once you're on that locomotive train, bro, there is no derailing you.
Yeah, no. Well, sometimes you set me up. Sometimes you're the person shoveling the coal into my engine to get me going, so you can get a good AI post. But listen, as you said, Rob. I mean, doing more interview content for the people, right? And you're always going to get great background, great stories, great insight from somebody like Chuck, who has his level of experience and has been out there for that long, and has again the vast range of experiences that he's had out there. Great to hear that Brunswick is supporting youth bowling too. Could you imagine when he was telling us that? Like, could you imagine having that when we bowled JBTs? Like, it would have been a free-for-all, bro. We would have been fighting each other for bag tags and bowling ball. I mean, it would have been madness. It would have been madness if somebody from Brunswick showed up while we were at a tournament event. So it's awesome for the young people today to get that as a regular part of what they're doing. So awesome to hear that they're doing that as well. Anything to add, Rob, before we jump off?
No, I mean, we could talk to Chuck for hours about stories and
endless time.
Yeah, endless time. And yeah, I mean, I like to talk more about definitely the Bowls Network and see what that's all about. It's the first time hearing of it, so maybe we'll follow up and get them on. And
I didn't want to. I have a little bit of behind the scenes information on that. I've talked to a couple people about that somewhat, so I'm a little bit informed on that. I just didn't. I don't want to speak out of turn, so to speak. But I think once they get rolling with that, and it's out there a little bit more, it's definitely something that the people are going to want to hear about for sure.
Yeah, and then definitely I could talk more, especially about bowl reactions, what the difference is between today and 20 years ago, and there's so much more we could probably have talked about, but we'll save for no time. We'll have Chuck on a few more times for sure. So yeah, man, definitely want to keep the interviews coming. So appreciate if you're listening this far out there. You want to wrap it up, Mike, with the...
Yeah, no doubt. Hit us with an email, sweeptherack@gmail. We always love the emails. We love hearing from the people. If you want your merch, go to insidebowling.com, content creator, Sweep the Rack. Use the code PatchPirate for 15% off. And depending on when you're listening to this, check us out. Sunday nights, we're usually live. 8 p.m., we usually go live on Sunday nights, and that's where we have the regular content for you, where we're reviewing whatever news happens to be hot in the bowling world this week. Worst of the week. How do we improve bowling? Patch Pirate Madness.
Big Mike hacking up on
league.
league.
You can handle.
Don't forget about Big Mike shooting 500 in league every
week.
League
Report. I almost went sub 500 on Tuesday, son.
We'll talk Sunday.
I'm back on the struggle bus, bro. I'm back on the struggle bus. All right, we'll talk about it Sunday. We'll see everybody later. Take it easy.
Guys.
You are now listening to Sweep the